Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name is Preston and today we're reviewing the color yellow in OP10 Royal Bloodlines. And oh boy, am I excited to talk about this yellow set. And it shouldn't be of any surprise that the end of every color review we get really excited about black and yellow. And this yellow set does not disappoint. I had a thought that it could be disappointing just based off of like initial thoughts, but I was wrong about that. I am excited about this. I think it gets everything that it needs. The law leader gets a nice bump of already having pre-existing green supernovas that it can use, and a search engine already there. And then the yellow kid, it might take a little bit of time to get enough cards to make it worth it, but I think it has some potential right off the bat because the set gave us quite a few cards that are playable right off the bat. And then you just go back into the past and you see all of the yellow cards all over. The card pool for yellow is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I think either of these leaders could be low meta picks. I don't think they're going to really face up against Blackbeard or shoot, even possibly a Dofi, because that deck's going crazy right now. But let's jump into the leaders and you guys can form your opinions based off of what these cards do. Starting off with Trafalgar Law. When one Dawn is attached, you can activate this once per turn on your main phase. If the total cost of your characters is 5 or more, you can return one of your characters to your owner's hand. Reveal the top card of your life, and if that card is a character with the trait Supernova and a cost of 5 or less, you may bring it into play. That's really interesting, you know. Having characters with a grand total above 5, not that hard. We saw Red Green Law do crazy stuff with 5 cost or less. Basically, you have a 5 cost on board. The first part of this effect is ready to go. Then you have to reveal a card off the top of your deck, and if it's a supernova with 5 or less, you play it. So swap them out, do a little shambles. I like it. I think that this set, along with all the other yellow sets, give you the ability to place yellow cards, or just cards, to the top of your life so that you can then do cool stuff with them. If blue, yellow, Luffy is anything to indicate that shenanigans can happen, this deck I think is also going to be full of really fun and interesting plays. Is there cards to play off of this? Yeah, there's some. I mean, there's some cards I would rather see, but I think it's going to be really interesting. And then we get some very cool alt arts for Law. Let's move on to our Eustass kid. Love to see a Eustass leader. Alright, let's see. At the end of your turn, you can turn the top card of your life face up, activate up to one of your characters with the supernova trait that costs between 3 and 8. That character gains blocker until the end of your opponent's next turn. Restand, so attack with everything. Restand your strongest card with supernova, and it gains blocker. Strongest in power, I would say. That's pretty cool. All for flipping a card face up, which you could then pull out of your life or flip face down. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do there, and I think that's viable. I think that's very viable. Now let's jump into our characters here, because there's basically pick a card and it's going to be pretty good for this deck. We're going to start here with our super rare. And it says, on play, you can put this character into rest mode. Put up to one card from the top of your opponent's life into the trash. Yeesh. At the end of your turn, if your opponent has 2 or less life, draw a card, discard a card. Love it. I love this card. Very strong. First, taking out life for basically getting a 9,000 cost powered character on board that you can then restand and it can be a blocker is crazy. Then on the end game, if they're not like if you defend this a tiny bit and you're just going through it, you're drawing a card and discarding a card every turn that this card stays on field. Your opponent's going to have to target this as much as they can, and it's going to be so easy to defend at 9k unless they're doing really big character stuff, which hopefully you are if you're playing against this deck. We can also just jump straight into our secret rare here, because one's super rare for this set, but we get the secret just like black. This is a 7-cost 9k Law. On play, reveal one character card with the characteristic supernova from your hand and add it face down to your life. After that, grant up to 1 Rested Dawn to one of your leaders or characters with supernova. So, now how I was just saying that shenanigans are going to happen? Late game shenanigans can happen, and this card enables it. Now, is the cost a little high? Maybe. You probably can find some cheaper cards that do something, at least with the first half of this effect. Getting cards into your life shouldn't be a problem with yellow. But also getting a Rested Dawn, that's okay. I don't hate it. For a secret rare, I would like to have seen counter or something. I feel like it wants something else. But also, yellow is ridiculous, so already adding life and all that stuff is pretty good. If it had more things, we would be screaming for a ban. So there is that. Jumping into the non high rarity cards, pick one. Honestly, they're great. When you play on play, top 5, find a supernova. That's not Luffy. They got a second searcher. That's great. So now you can play Bonnie searchers and this Luffy searcher have 2 searcher engine for the same characteristics, so you don't have to play too many cards outside of the typing, which I think makes it very strong. Now, let's see. Oh, let's just talk about this guy now. This card's not great for the game, I think. Mostly because we have cards that do board wipe. So I believe, and I'll have to double check this after, but on KO is on KO. It doesn't matter who does the KOing. So we have, let's see, I think it's set 1 Kaido, and then there's the mom Kaido that clears boards. To play one of these and then get rid of a bunch of life with your character cards, which I think is really bad for the game. I think yellow is already really strong, and then introducing something like this where you can play a combo and clear multiple life off of that combo just by playing cards and not attacking, I think that's bad. Generally, I think that's bad for the game. And this card makes it really easy to play into a just disgusting like, is it purple yellow deck, clearing your side of the board with a couple of these on, getting a bunch of life off of it, and then no board state being in existence and them having less life. It's just, oh boy, what were they thinking? I think it's really strong for a rare. And then it has a trigger that you draw 2 cards and discard 1. That's crazy. And it has counter. Get out of here. All right. Let's see. Let's not talk about Caribou. It's kind of boring. Talk about Beiji. On play, you can add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand. Add up to 1 character card with a character supernova from your hand face up on top of your life. Again, enabling the archetype in the set. I think this set does that well, where you are constantly getting stuff to help the deck continue to move forward. And a lot of sets, I feel like you get half of it now, half of it later. I think you got a lot of it now in this set. Jewelry Bonnie is a blocker. On play, you can add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand. Add up to 1 character with the cost of 5 with trait supernova from your hand face up on the top of your life. I'm assuming that it's going to be a 5 or less. It'd be pretty strange for it to be a straight 5. But it's possible that they're very restrictive because you have a lot of options, and going into law where it needs that 5. But translations on Google Chrome be damned. This card is still another enabler for both of these leaders, which is great. And it's balanced. You pick up a card, you add a card, so you're not gaining life, you're just cycling it, which honestly could be worse if you think about it. Let's see, what is... So, one of the cards that I'm not so hype about. If you have a character other than Scratchman with yellow trait Supernova, this character gains blocker. I don't like it because it's very easily... you can get around it. If you have one Supernova that's yellow, one green, and then Scratchman and he has blocker, you get rid of the yellow one. He's no longer blocker. He's useless on board. They KO it because it's easy to get rid of a 1-cost 1k character. I don't think this card gets played, and I think that's one of the very few cards that you don't play in this deck. It's just every single one of them feels good. If your leader has Supernova, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal a Supernova or a Kid Pirate, add it to your hand, then place the bottom. Like a lower, less deep searcher. So you got a 3-cost searcher that gets 3, you got a 1-cost searcher that goes 5, you have your previous Jewelry Bonnie that goes 5 deep, I think. It's just a really good set for yellow, and I hope it's good enough to stand up against what's already being played, because I think it's really easy to overlook this with what is already being played that is really, really good. But I think this set is really good, and if it doesn't get played this set, at least in its entirety, if the leaders don't get played this set, it gets played next set, because that's how this game is being built. Every set kind of builds on top of the last one, and then it will switch and it'll build on that. So, and then we'll come like 6 to 8 months down the road and we'll start getting reveals for like an EBO3 or whatever that has some support for Supernova, so it can always come back later. And I think that's something to look forward to for these two leaders. I think they have an opportunity to become something, and even if they don't, their character cards in this set are incredible. That 8-cost Kid is dumb. That 4-cost Basil is quite dumb, meaning you're going to play it in a lot of stuff. It's not going to be restricted to just these two leaders. And I think yellow does that well. But with that being said, am I too excited for yellow? Let me know in the comments. If I'm not excited enough, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to get more One Piece TCG content, hit that subscribe. And until next time, peace.